everybody's looked at that. I'll call for a motion to approve the agenda with two modifications, additions. One is ordinance in item D under new business is 871. And then under old business, last time we had also talked about readdressing the business occupation license fee schedule. So I will put that back on the agenda and we will talk about that during the meeting. So with that, is there a motion to approve the agenda as modified in the minutes from March?
I so move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. Agenda and minutes are approved as written. May
Who seconded it?
witness. We don't have any formal public participation, so we will move on to police report and court reports. Will, please?
Yeah, we're pretty much the same as last month. The only thing that really went up is traffic stops. And I did notice that the ordinance complaints investigations, we didn't receive many official complaints, but I did send out several letters for people to get some things fixed. Down trees and stuff that have been just sitting around since December. And I would also like to address that we need to have some sort of better information so we can be in better communication with some of these Airbnbs, because I have a problem with one that I've had since I want to say since September. They've had a downed tree in their backyard, and I've just not been able to contact anybody. I send letters, they get rejected and sent back to me. I don't know. I have an address in Parkville, but I'm going to probably just try to drive and see if I can get somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
But we've got no phone number, no nothing on it.
I think you two have coordinated your information.
I've mailed that address as well. It still got sent back to me.
Yeah, we have the same issue with the sewer billing for that property.
The other thing I do want to address is, I've said this a couple meetings before, sending text messages to any staff member or anything for police matters is unacceptable. It's just incorrect policy for anybody to believe that's okay. There was also something on the Facebook page where somebody tagged the police department in something, which is fine, they can do that. It's a private group. The police department can't even see that they were tagged, for one. Two, that's not really a complaint. Cars are loud, and motorcycles are loud too. I know exactly what he's talking about. I know the vehicle he's talking about. They're downshifting when I've seen them, as a person who also rides a motorcycle.
Sorry, I didn't see the complaint.
Somebody complaining about cars speeding, or not even speeding, just revving their engines, a car or motorcycle revving their engines in Prairie View at the stoplight. That's not what's happening. They're downshifting from third to first, and you have to rev your engine so you don't mess up your clutch on a motorcycle. That's not really a complaint. Not only that, there's nothing really we can do about that. There's no ordinances about loud motorcycles, and most motorcycles are loud. And barely, I don't understand why somebody would post that on a Facebook page where it's not controlled by the city. I saw that because I'm part of the group for other things, and I will respond to certain things if it comes around, but an official police matter that they want something done can't happen. There's been times where we've received phone calls, I'm like, hey, that truck's here. What are you talking about? Well, just check the Facebook page. I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way. I can't go off of a private group. So,
just to reiterate, it's not an official site. Anything that's a public safety has to go straight to 911. Anything that's a city matter needs to come to the City Hall or the website.
yeah, pretty much.
Anything else, Will?
I believe that's it.
That's good. Report, please.
So it looks like for the month of March, we had a total of 9 filings, disposed of 33 cases, and had revenues of $2,744.70. I don't really have much to add beyond that.
No questions or comments on the police or court report from the Aldermen? If not, we'll move on to committee reports and Aldermen's remarks. Since the committee chair for the park isn't here, I will do that, and then I will run down to the Aldermen. Basically, the park's booked up pretty well. We've got occupancy pretty much every weekend now. We've We've got 4 different groups that continually participate in space there. And as far as the rental calendar, pretty much something's going on every weekend. So it's good. And the air conditioning and the heating has been fixed, so it's in pretty good shape. Other than that, I think that's it. So with that, any Alderman
I
remarks, Jane?
have nothing.
Okay.
Shocking, isn't it?
Eric? Okay. With that, Candace is ill. We'll move on to the financials. Jane, since you're the head of that committee, would you want to just kind of go over that?
Sure.
Or I can do it, either way.
I was gonna say, everything looks fine. We're not spending outrageously. It's well within measure, within the parameters. And as always, this group is very cautious when it comes to spending money. And we're doing a great job.
Unless anybody has any more questions on the financials, either the management reports for March, or the year-to-date, or the cash flow sheet, then I will, if everybody's looked at it, ask for a motion to approve the paid bills resolution, which is 04/11/24.
I move that we approve paid bills resolution 04/11/24.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, paid bills resolution 04/11/24 passes as presented. The next item, mayor's remarks real quickly. Last month I talked to you guys about the Northland Transportation Transit stuff. I'm trying to get the Northland Regional Chamber of Commerce copy. When I get that, I'll share both the Kansas City version and the Northland version with that. You should be able to get that by the end of the month. If I can, I'll email it to you guys, if not, with copies at the May meeting. And then usually about this time of year, we talk about if we want to roll a dumpster into town, because there's 3 as part of our waste contract. So usually we do it in May. If that's something I think the board's interested in, we can set that up. The likelihood is we'll set at the park again. So you guys might think about that, and we'll either do it first of May or after the May meeting, whichever you guys feel based on whatever your residents or your perceptions are.
We've had a lot of wind. I know, excuse me, several of our neighbors have had things come down.
So, yeah, and if you want, we can even move it in earlier. I would check the park calendar, make sure we don't interfere with any big events. But we'll theoretically pick a date, thing that.
How long would you leave it there?
It kind of depends on how fast it gets full. I don't like to leave it there more than like 2 or 3 weeks. Sometimes you send it back, it's only like 80% full, but I'm not gonna leave it there forever.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's full in a week and we just have to pick it up, so somewhere in that category. Depends on how full it gets and what goes into it.
I was confused, was this yard waste?
Yes, yard waste.
Yeah.
Lee, I don't think they pick it
I
up.
was gonna say.
Mainly, they
it's
don't
just
like
limbs.
limbs, logs, so basically big tree limb waste. Like brush piles that you collected all winter. So, we will look at that. If we happen to find a date before the next meeting, we'll probably just go ahead and do it.
That's what I'd say
So
too.
that's the board's position. We'll just pick a date that fits in the next several weeks.
That's good.
And while we're talking about brush, those pieces of the tree that was cut down in the front yard of the park.
Yeah, they were supposed to pick those up by last Friday, so I'm gonna call the guy and have him come get what's in the front and the back.
Okay, because I didn't know if somebody was coming to get it
Yeah.
or they just.
We've left it there if people in Platte County or residents wanted it. I think everybody that wanted what they wanted to haul off have got it, so that's why I contacted the tree contractor and told him I think we're done. Come in and get it. He said he tried to get it to it by last Friday, but I think the weather and all that.
Yeah.
So, that's it. And then the next item, we had, I want to introduce G with Pine Ridge Church. He's got something for us, and the document that I had was the only one I had. Can we share that around with the Aldermen? Yeah, and that way they can kind of look at this while you're talking.
So again, yes, here to discuss Pine Ridge's Refresh Pantry. So about 3 years ago, our congregation started what we call our Refresh Pantry, which goes out to serve underprivileged families in the North End, as well as congregation members with basic hygiene products and needs. Right now, it's sustained by our congregation through donations and donations alone. Recently, we have seen an uptake of people who have begun to use Refresh Pantry. Right now, our focus is students, and we are running low on items on this list for little children, right, the smaller guys. And as a way to kind of alleviate stress and pressure of the congregation members, I was hoping that we would be able to somehow receive some sort of donation from Parkville or Plattewoods, or if there's anything that the city council can help us do when it comes to donating, because it doesn't mainly go to the congregation. The majority of it is for the Northland schools. So every school in the Northland we serve, we work with their counseling staff, or sometimes they have like nurses or whatever, and they tell us the needs of the family, the needs of the children. So the students is the big part, right? The adults don't take as much of the adult equipment, right? So we're really trying to have sustainable equipment for the little guys, if that would be possible for us to receive help.
So do you work with SPEAK? Do you know what SPEAK is?
I'm not
Certified
familiar with
Emergency Assistance Pantry, and it's in Parkville?
I'm not for sure if we work with Speak or not, but I could inquire.
Okay, because I think you may be overlapping, which is a good thing. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but I just wondered. They provide food too.
Okay, so we're not doing food. It's
You're just doing,
basic hygiene, right? So things that SNAP or EBT or WIC won't cover, detergent, shampoo, soap, conditioner, lotion, toothbrush, toothpaste, things like that.
but I just wondered about that.
And what was the name of the organization?
It's SPEAK,
Speak. Thank you very much.
and it's in the Presbyterian Church. It's housed there in Parkville.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, and it's been around 60-some years, I think. So,
That's good.
but their focus mainly is food, I do believe, but I know they do. Some, if they have hygiene products, they personally do that too.
Yes, ma'am. And yeah, we have a closet set aside, and it's open 24/7. Sometimes people may be embarrassed, or so the door is always unlocked for that. They get into the church, and then sometimes they'll approach the schools and they'll tell us what they need, and we'll fill bags for them. That way they can be sent home with the students, something along those lines.
Do you guys have a website if you want to spread word?
We do have a website. If you just Google Pine Ridge Presbytery, I'm not for sure what you would be looking for. Are you asking me for a refresh?
Yeah, if I wanted to tell somebody like, hey, this is how they can get a hold of you to donate.
I
Oh,
was
for
gonna
sure.
ask that same question
Yeah.
after the Alderman got done. If you guys don't mind, can you kind of tell us how you prefer to interact or us to direct people that might be interested, or, because we don't know what we don't know, so.
For sure. Well, you could contact myself or you could contact the church, right, and let them know, hey, G stops by and let us know about the refresh pantry. We have people who would like to donate, and they could stop by anytime during regular church hours, which is Monday through Friday from 9 to about 3 or 4, and then Sundays from about 8 a.m. to about 2 p.m. And we have a donation box for the refresh.
So it's at that site, and that's where we should direct them to go between roughly those hours.
Yes, sir. Or if you guys wanted to collect anything here, I can leave you with my number, and myself or another member of the church can come in and pick those up, whichever is the most painless for whoever.
Yeah, we might talk about what works best for our community.
Just a suggestion, right before the meeting started, we were talking about some of the residents are coordinating a neighborhood-wide garage sale, thank you. Maybe doing some sort of request for donations,
Or
right?
collection boxes of the different.
And I would urge that rather, if they were to collect money or anything, I would urge that that go directly to the church because I don't want to handle any of that.
Sure, yeah. I'm just thinking we can maybe get you the contact information for Bert or whoever's coordinating.
Yeah,
it,
Bert's the
maybe.
liaison.
You know, you can get some materials to her, it's kind of what you gave us, that would help. And I don't know how we would get the message out other than through that Facebook page. The city doesn't run the Facebook page, it's a resident thing, but I mean, we can
My thing is, let's
try to
get
get the message out.
some information for Bert and the site to G, and let him reach out to Bert. And then, Jane, you want to send a note to Bert and let him know that somebody from Pine Ridge might be contacting him for hygiene products, and the board thought maybe that if they could incorporate that request into the garage sailors, if they want to during the garage sale have some sort of collection or something like that, that would, because the garage sale that we mentioned earlier, coming up on the 25th and 26th, it's in a couple weeks. So we can do that, and then we will discuss amongst ourselves whether we want to do something here or just put something on our official website to get in contact with the church directly between the hours you mentioned. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So I've got something to add. That makes sense? Anything else, Chief?
No, thank you, but I'm glad to know that we have allies here, so if anything does come up, I know destination.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's a very worthwhile cause.
Jay, do you want to give me your contact information? We can find it with Bert. Some Bert isn't one. She used to be an alderman. We're closed tomorrow, so it might not be until early next week that you hear. So we know, see what we can think of it, or get back to you.
Thank you. With that, we'll move on to new business. So whenever Jessica's ready, she will kind of do a summary of the polling results, and then we will start the swearing process for the newly electeds, and then continue with the rest of the agenda.
I'll just bring it back. Just want to make sure you can get that, what does that say?
Okay, so we received certification from the Board of Elections, our Board of Election Commissioners, certifying the results of the, what was it, April
Second.
2nd election. And it looks like for the position of mayor citywide, we had, make sure I'm reading this right, we have 295 registered voters, 35 total votes were cast, 34 for Mayor Smedley, 1 write-in. So congratulations, Mayor Smedley. For Ward 1, looks like we had 152 registered voters, 18 votes were cast, all for Larry Corey. He's not here tonight. We'll just swear him in
Next
next
time.
time he's here. Okay. Okay. And then for Ward 2, 143 registered voters, 19 total votes were cast, all for Mr. Snyder. So congratulations to you.
Congratulations.
Okay. Change the oath of office. I'm never sure how to do this, so you guys want to read it together and just insert your own name and office? You want to read them separately?
Just read them separate, just 2 of us.
Okay. You do whatever makes you happy.
I, Brendan Snyder, do solemnly swear that I possess the qualifications of the position of Alderman for Ward 2 as prescribed by law, that I will support the constitutions of the United States and the state of Missouri, the provisions of all laws affecting cities of this class, and the ordinances of the city of Plattewoods, and will faithfully demean myself, so help me God.
Mayor?
I, John Smedley, do solemnly swear that I possess all the qualifications for the position of mayor as prescribed by law. I will support the Constitution of the United States, the state of Missouri, the provisions of all the laws affecting the cities within this class, and the ordinances of the city of Plattewoods, and will faithfully redeem myself, so help me God. Thank you.
Sign that for me. We just do this to make sure you guys can actually read.
And your public speaking skills.
And you passed.
It's too late, I've got it memorized.
Yeah, I do 20 times, I can memorize too. With that, we will move on to the next business, which there's always a statewide emergency agreement, and it's been updated. It's in front of you. We just need to, by motion and vote, to promulgate the City of Plattewoods' agreement for the statewide emergency management program. So I'll give everybody a chance to look at it. This is something we tend to do every few years, and as they update things with FEMA and SEMA, we have to make changes within the county, and the county then makes us make changes on how they are required to operate.
So are there any changes other than just what's required by FEMA trickling in?
Nothing on our end. And the county's just boilerplate what the state says, and the state's boilerplate what FEMA says.
Cool.
Because we have to have this to get reimbursed, so if we don't agree to this and we spend $200,000, we will get it back. So those are why I think you guys, particularly the NIMS thing, that's why I was required. If you have a certain level of it, I would try to have like 6, 8 levels, and if she's required to have 10. So we've got to go through all that just to make sure the I's are dotted, T's are crossed for emergency management, payment of expenses. With that, do I have a motion for the promulgation of the statewide emergency management operational plan?
I so move.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, that will be passed and signed. Jessica, this requires everybody to sign it. I'm just going to use mine as the master and just have everybody sign it. Get on the stove, pick a spot, which is Alderman, and then we'll pass it around. will move on to the next item. I think everybody might have been aware that the Platte County Sheriff's Office was up in the annex by the courthouse and by the assessor and collector. Well, the prosecutor needed more space, and they were looking at how to do things, and they had looked to kind of build a new jail and a new public safety center, but that was going to be too expensive. So what they did was, there's a resource center up by the KCI Expo Center. You might have seen the big building with the green metal roof. So now the entire Platte County Sheriff's Office has moved into that building. All the renovations have been done. They moved in effective April 1. There's an open house on the 18th if anybody wants to go see the new Sheriff's Department. And then the former Sheriff's Department is going to be gutted and be turned over to the county prosecutor, Eric Zahn, who happens to live in Plattewoods, and they will replace those 22 offices and cubicles for the entire prosecutor's office and redesign the access in the building so the processors have direct internal access to the courthouse and all that. And that will start after they get rid of the furniture in the old sheriff's office, which is what we have on our item. They asked any entities in Plattewoods if they wanted some of that furniture, since it didn't fit the floor plan of the resource center in the new sheriff's office. So I announced it to the Platte County mayors, and we also announced all the school districts and places like that. There was a viewing Tuesday, and so the city of Plattewoods has found a couple of office suites and places like that where we can upgrade our furniture for the police department and also upgrade some furnishings for the park. So next week we will go up and pick up the items that we tagged. And so I'm asking for a motion to approve the acceptance of the donated furniture from the Platte County Sheriff's Department.
So,
Second?
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Then we will conclude that transaction, and that will become part of City of Plattewoods property. Next item is, as Jessica mentioned, item 871, the approval of the preliminary plat. To give you a little background on that, the shopping center here, which I'll kind of show you guys, the top map, I'll start that way, is what is currently divided into, and the owner wants to replat it and subdivide it so that, as you're familiar, there's 4 buildings and 2 parking lots. They are going to replat it so that there are 6 lots total. Each building becomes its own lot. Each lot meets the minimum requirements of Plattewoods' zoning and planning. And with your guys' approval and the payment of the fee and the final plat drawings being presented to us, which I understand will be next week if we move forward, we will approve the final plat, and there will be 4 separate building lots and then 2 shared parking lots, and then each owner of the building, my expectation is this is so that the owner can sell each building off to a different entity, and then they would have CAM charges, which is common area maintenance, to cover painting, asphalting, and each building would share their percentage of what the cost of the 2 parking lots are. And so that's kind of a brief view of that. And with that, there's an ordinance that goes with it. The building commissioner has also been involved in this process. He's looked at it, verified all the information, and proved to me that it was in compliance with the Plattewoods' planning and zoning subdivision ordinances. So I was going to share that with you, and then I'll show it with Jane if you guys are done looking. And then I'll ask for a 2 title reading of the ordinance and a vote and a roll call when we're ready. So any questions or discussion on that other than what I summarized?
Do they have buyers? Have they mentioned? I'm just curious, but.
I know they had been trying to sell one of the buildings, but they didn't want all of it, so I think this is probably a circle back to each individual entity might want to buy their own building. I could see, this is speculation, I could see Diane's buying that building.
Yeah, I could
Because they've
too.
been there 40 years, and they might as well just buy it and rent it out to the other tenants and do it that way. And I can see where, Gators may have an interest, or the laundry may have an interest in buying this one. So it could go a multitude of different ways, which doesn't affect anything in the city other than we would have 4 new landlords where we currently only have 1. So if there's no other questions or discussion, you want to be by title twice?
I will, and I will just note, I pulled, as always, from the ordinance for the roll call. So Eric, you're not on here. It says white instead of right. It's close. So we'll get that. That will be the only change made that I'm aware of at this point. Okay, so ordinance number 871. An ordinance accepting the final plat designated the shops at Tower Drive, a replat of tract 37, block D, and granting a variance on the same. Again, proposed ordinance number 871, an ordinance accepting the final plat designated the shops at Tower Drive, a replat of tract 37, block D, and granting a variance on the same.
And with that, I probably should mention, the variance has to do with the city codes and ordinances require that all plats have an entrance onto a city-owned public street. Well, you can obviously see that the back buildings no longer will have direct access to Tower Drive or to Prairie View because they'll all go through a common property. So our variance would vary that requirement for this and let standalone buildings not have to have an egress directly on the public street. So that's not what that means. So if there's any additional questions or comments, do I have a motion to pass ordinance 871?
I so move.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
And your name for roll call, please.
Jane Hoover, aye.
Brittany Snyder, aye.
And I hear none opposed, and we have a quorum, so ordinance 871 passes, and will go into effect upon receipt of payment and the final enlarged drawings as required by our ordinances. The last item is, I guess I should know more about this, but I don't. The Older Americans Month must be April. I think I must qualify for that. So
3/5 of us.
there's a proclamation.
Or actually, proclaiming May.
Oh, is it May?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I see, May. Is Older American Month. So do I have a motion to approve a proclamation for May is the Older Americans Month?
I so move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, proclamation passes as presented.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
would you read the proclamation? I'm teasing you. No, you don't have to.
No, I can. Older American Month 2024, a proclamation. Whereas May is Older American Month, a time for us to recognize and honor our community, older adults, an immense influence on every facet of American society. And whereas through their wealth, life experience, and wisdom, older adults guide our younger generations, carry forward abundant culture and historical knowledge. And whereas older Americans improve our communities through intergenerational relationships, community service, civic engagement, and many other activities. And whereas committees benefit from people of all ages, abilities, and backgrounds, have the opportunity to participate and live independently. And whereas we must ensure that older Americans have the resources and support needed to stay involved in their communities, reflecting their commitment to inclusivity and correctedness. Now, therefore, the Mayor of the City of Plattewoods, I do hereby proclaim May 24 as Older Americans Month. This year's theme, Powered by Connection, emphasizes the prolonged impact of meaningful interactions and social connections on the well-being and health of older adults in our community. Along with the Board of Aldermen, I call upon all the residents to join me in recognizing the contributions of our older citizens, promoting programs, activities, and foster connection, inclusion, and support for older adults. So proclaimed.
I just want to say amen.
And with that, I think I mentioned it, there is a Senate bill that was approved and signed by the mayor and by the governor in February, where anyone that's of Social Security age, they can apply every year. Platte County adopted an ordinance where it will freeze property taxes for anyone eligible for Social Security or if collecting Social Security, and each year you apply. So if your current valuation is $2,700 and you're 62, I believe, you're eligible for Social Security, you can apply every year and it will be frozen in perpetuity as long as you apply every year for that. So,
September.
and September, I was going to say, is the first sign-up time. So you guys don't apply, but, and it works for individually owned, trust-owned, or any other entity-owned properties, but you have to apply each year. So I just thought, in coordination with this,
Yeah,
that's
that's-
it.
That's in Platte County.
Currently, it's only Platte County that I'm aware of on the western side of the state that has done that. I'm sure Clay County will follow, Jackson County may, again, it's county option.
It's by county. It's-
Don't worry, guys, it won't exist by the time we get there.
But
Neither
if
will
they were on
Social Security.
disability.
This does not apply to us.
Thanks, Mr. Jessica.
Your positivity is just shining.
Any other questions or discussions on any of that? Then we will move to old business. We are still working on getting a good copy of an ordinance for right-of-way, kind of like we did short-term rental. It's a process, and there's so many variables, and all the state statutes keep changing on how entities can participate in utility agreements and easements and what they can charge and what they can't charge. And there's a new one out there now that somebody's petitioned that internet service providers aren't subject to the same franchise tax that a gas company and all that is. So that's being worked out in Joe City. So that gets to a point where the dust settles, we'll get that done. The second item we've talked last meeting about, we have our fees for businesses, and we've got some businesses that, because this was generated back in 1986, we felt that we might want to add some different categories or maybe change some things. The one we had in mind particularly was a basic business is like $40. If you got a restaurant where there's a lot more involved and things like that, it goes up to $120. If you've got a packaged liquor store or a convenience store, that's higher. But we didn't have anything for like a catering category or something like that, so it made sense maybe make it halfway between the restaurant, and so we were thinking maybe $60. Seemed like the right thing to do. That would apply to all food trucks, anybody that does a catering in the city and things like that. So I didn't know if you guys had any other thoughts or wanted to make any other ones. If not, at this point, I would probably make a motion that we at least add a food service catering category for $60. So any question, discussion on that? I can't think of any other ones that we really need. We cover most home businesses, we cover the businesses around our operating area, whether they're retail or service. So that was about the only one we had. The Jessica, help me, how did we classify the businesses for short-term rentals? Should we maybe also have a category for that?
I
Could we
think
have our
that
own
the
code?
ordinance specifically says they do not need to also get a business license because the permitting process is already so onerous for them that.
So then that's, so I think again, just maybe a catering food service one might be something we want to add, and I'm suggesting maybe $60 for the annual. Any questions, comments, discussion? Have a motion?
Sure. I'll make a motion. I so move.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We will make adjustments to the business occupation licenses, adding that category, and the fee rate is $60. And with that, I don't know that there's anything else. I'd ask for public participation, most of the public left, so
I have something.
go ahead.
The gentleman that has the food truck at the His food's very good.
Will, I haven't had time to go. Will says it's great. It usually sells out in like an hour and a half to 2 hours.
We were there at noon on the first weekend, and he was sold out. The line went from the food truck, clear back to the shops behind them, and there were people in line. And so.
And Will says it's really good.
It is. Personally, we like his smoked meats. Besides, everybody has an opinion about baked beans and coleslaw and chili, but it's good, and it's nice to see him people are really excited about it. And so we went up the next weekend, and I got there early, so I got food, but I talked to his wife, and she said they've just been so pleased with the response.
I thought they do very well.
Awesome. Good. I've tried to go with nice and driver as well, so.
Yeah. You need to be there about a quarter to get in line. And meet some nice people. I think
Get in line with you.
Yeah, and he has a following. I mean, he has built-in customers, so wherever he goes, they're there in line. So they were giving me pointers on what to try and what not. So it was really, it was really nice. And,
That's awesome.
Maybe we need to start as part of our business license approval process is we need testers.
Taste testing before the occupancy license.
I had to use the urban paw here recently, and I'm jokingly.
Are you-
I'm here for the inspection. I brought my inspection dog.
Are you volunteering for the tough job?
It depends on what the business is.
If it's a bakery or
But yeah,
catering,
food goods, we need a sample of the menu.
Anything else? If no further discussion, the next meeting is May 9th at 7. And is there a motion to adjourn?
I so moved.
Second.
All in favor? Meeting adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations, newly electeds.